and give us an address. Soon after, we'll invite the president of LSK. Tumpigie makofi tafadhali anapokuja. Asante sana.
Good afternoon, comrades. Good afternoon, comrades. My name is Maura Kabata. I am the Vice President of the Law Society of Kenya. I am extremely delighted to be here today, not only as a fellow comrade, but also as an alumni of the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. It's a nostalgic moment for me because the last time I was here, in fact,
1, 2, 3 test. 1, 2,
I was
3
doing
test.
my exams in this very room, and today I did not foresee that we will be having an extremely delicate as well as an important moment in our country's history, or to describe and define a prospect of a future Kenya. But before I say anything in the context of what I purposely meant to say, allow me to just observe a 10-second moment of silence for our dearly departed Kenyans. Thank you. Colleagues and friends, and those who love what we call a state of nationalhood, allow me to first start by praising and congratulating all of you for making time, even those who are virtually connected with us in spirit, to be able to make these engagements together as a people. For those who have lost their loved ones or do not know where their loved ones are, I may not share your collective pain, but believe me that I understand what it means to lose someone or not to be able to do anything. And the feeling of helplessness is something that I believe none of us should go through. I want to make an emphasis that as the Law Society of Kenya, we have not only a statutory duty, but also a duty towards our fellow human beings to instill and continue to engage in offering support, both in terms of judicial interventions as well as legal representation to all those who are unfairly and illegally taken through the processes that we have been seeing. I say illegal because most of the activities that are being perpetuated by the National Police Service and those other organs of state are in fact illegal. But we will continue to press more. And even though we may have a political compromise between those who define themselves as political actors, we are not political actors. We are actors of the state, and we are actors to each other who believe that we can make Kenya a better place and the world, as we are also global citizens. I do not want to take a lot of your time. I believe that today we will have a better way of engaging, and we will share ideas on how to take this narrative forward. But in the course of the day, as we will be engaging, we will share the insights and our experiences, and even those who will be giving their own personal testimonies. We have already had linkages with various global actors who are very interested in what is happening in Kenya for purposes of documentation and bringing to account responsibility all those who have played a part in the injustices that are going on within and without our state of Kenya. Our greatest enemy usually are the people that we actually support. We have the power as a people to determine where we are heading. And there's an interesting narrative that is going on in terms of what we call corporate social responsibility to those business enterprises that continue to perpetuate and assist in the ongoing systemic injustices within Kenya. I am speaking about the corporate players that assist the state in tracking of individuals using technology, and also in sharing private and sensitive personal data. So as a law society, we are also alive to that, and we will address that in due time, and we shall be mentioning the names of those business entities that are supporting the continued perpetuation of the injustices. Allow me now to just put a pause to that and invite the Law Society of Kenya President Faith Odhiambo, partly a champion of the rule of law, justice, as well as a sister in this struggle. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to the indomitable, the indefatigable Faith Moni Odhiambo. A round of applause, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I don't feel the energy. Good afternoon. Allow me to adopt the protocols. When the Vice Chancellor spoke this morning, he laid them out. And I thank him for welcoming us back to our roots. The Vice President and I have the privilege to have come through the halls of this institution. And so as proud alumni, we thank him for offering the Citizens Assembly a place that we can come and have a good discourse and chart the way forward as a nation, as a people. So it's my honor to be part of this event and this conversation, reflecting on the gathering of patriotic Kenyans. I feel a deep sense of pride and hope for Kenya and the youth of this country. But I'm also overwhelmed by the abuse of human rights, infringement of the rule of law, and destruction of property that we have witnessed in our motherland as a result of the ongoing protests that are secured under Article 37 of the Constitution. The Law Society of Kenya is here today because of its mandate to protect and advance the rule of law and advocate for justice. Besides, the Law Society is part of this event because of over 60% of advocates are aged below 35 years. Once again, I salute all the advocates and students of law for standing up for human rights, justice, and for Kenya. It is heartbreaking that Kenyans are still being abducted to silence their voices, and we cannot allow that to continue. I'm sure that we all appreciate this kind of context that we're living in today, where the power of citizens in governance is more apparent than ever. The emergence of digital tools and spaces have revolutionized how we, as citizens, can engage with our elected leaders and each other. These tools have given birth to new avenues for nurturing conversations, cross-pollination of ideas, and mobilizing Kenyans for change. In the recent weeks, we have witnessed the remarkable impact of this digital revolution. The Gen Zs of our nation, led by an unprecedented push against the Finance Bill of 2024, a bill that many felt personally was going to weigh down heavily on them and was more exploitative and out of touch of the realities that they were living in today. And it was not just for the finance bill. It has morphed into a big agenda. It was a call and a cry for a country that works for us and not for a select few. Through digital activism, I strongly feel the youth have helped us reclaim our sovereignty, renew our commitment to our national flag, and galvanize our collective ambitions as Kenyans. I believe the political class now knows that the citizens are woke. We are vigilant and ready to demand accountability, transparency, and good governance. Digital spaces have truly become the new frontier of governance and opposition, a space where every voice can be heard and every concern addressed without fear or favor. Today, we must stand proud of what and who we are as a people and what has been achieved through digital activism. It has shown us that we can make our voices matter, and together we can drive the country into the direction that we want. Indeed, digital spaces are the fertile grounds in which we are able to impact, and we have witnessed the same. And a promising future lies ahead. And therefore, allow me to commend all of you with a special salute to the youth of this country. Your engagement, your passion, your commitment to a better Kenya are what has made this citizen assembly worth the while. I thank all of you. Yesterday, I found myself in a conversation where a number of millennials and Gen Zs were wondering why digital platforms are effective in bringing change and transformation in Kenya. And this is what I shared. Firstly, digital media is free and uncontrolled. Unlike traditional platforms like radio, television, and newspapers, this lack of government control makes it an ideal space for activism. There are no gatekeepers to filter or censor. This means citizens can speak their minds freely, share their thoughts and ideas without fear of repression. This freedom is the substrum of effective activism. Secondly, in the digital world, everyone is a source of information and news. Each one of us has the power to share our stories, report events, and bring attention to issues that matter. This democratization of information means that important stories are less likely to be ignored or buried. Every tweet, every post, every blog can spark a movement, making each one of us a potential catalyst for change. Thirdly, digital media allows us to reach the masses instantly. In the blink of an eye, a message can go viral, spreading across the country and beyond our borders. This is crucial for mobilizing support, organizing peaceful protests, and creating a sense of urgency around pressing issues. Moreover, digital platforms provide a unique space where Kenyans can express themselves in their own way. Whether through words, images, videos, or memes, you have the freedom to communicate in ways that resonate with all of you. This diversity of expression enriches our activism and makes it more engaging and impactful. In the same meeting, I had someone say that to a large extent, people live online. I remember a meme that I saw once that in today's world, you sit in a table and everyone is bowed down looking at their phones. And I bet some of us are on our phones. It's said that more connections are now happening online first before we meet physically. Is it true? This makes digital activism the most potential tool for engagement and generating important conversations. By meeting people where they are, digital platforms ensure that messages are seen and heard by those who matter most, either organically or through tagging. Finally, digital media is now a major source of entertainment. This dual role as a hub for both information and entertainment makes it a powerful platform for driving conversations. But let us now reflect on what digital activism has achieved for Kenya so that we utilize it effectively. The recent Gen Z-led protests have demonstrated the irrefutable power of digital activism. Through coordinated online efforts, we saw how digital platforms played a central role in locating many of the abducted protesters. The pressure mounted by relentless social media campaigns forced the abductors to release some of those captives. The matter in issue now is that this act of solidarity and persistent online clamor not only saved lives, but also highlighted the effectiveness of digital activism in addressing urgent human rights issues. Digital activism was instrumental to the cry to the government to drop the contentious Financial Bill 2024, which initially triggered the protests. This victory was a clear indication that when citizens unite online, their collective voice can influence policy decisions at the highest level. It showed that digital activism can achieve more than raising awareness. It can achieve tangible outcomes. In an unprecedented move, digital activism persuaded the president to engage directly with citizens on Twitter Space. This trailblazing event marked the first time a sitting head of state in Africa participated in a live question and answer session with their citizens. It underscored the power of digital platforms in bridging the gap between leaders and the people that they serve, ushering a new era of transparency and direct communication. Should this be a new platform to engage with your leaders? Should it? The ripple effects of Kenyan digital activism are already being felt across the continent. The impact is evident as youth in other African countries are inspired by the success of the Kenyan youth and are now using digital platforms to advocate for change in their own nations. Can we call it Digital Africa Rising? A shift is happening in the continent towards greater civic engagement and accountability. Public participation in governance will never be the same. Digital activism has revolutionized the way Kenyans engage in national discourse. It has provided us with a forum to voice our opinions, give feedback, and hold our leaders accountable. The new forum of public participation will ensure that every citizen, regardless of their physical location, can have a say in how they're governed. How do we as a country move forward, particularly with the question of digital activism? I think this is what we need to take home, at least, if not for anything, from this event. As we look to the future, it is clear that digital activism has proven its effectiveness in advocating for change and accountability. This new form of engagement is a powerful tool for peaceful protest. It does provide the citizenry with an effective means to express demands and aspiration. I believe we must embrace more digital activism as a necessity for it ensures our voices are heard, our concerns are addressed, while minimizing loss of life and property. Given the successes that I've raised and talked about, we must adopt digital activism as a form or method of public participation. This will guarantee that Kenyans have a direct say to the management and future of our country by integrating digital platforms into our civic processes. We can drive a more inclusive and participatory democracy where every Kenyan, regardless of their age, gender, religion, or location, can contribute to the national decision-making process. Furthermore, digital activism should be a tool for promoting peace and unity. In a country often divided by physical barriers and social barriers, tribe and religion, digital spaces offer a unique opportunity to connect, collaborate, and build bridges among communities. By engaging with other users online as a tribeless citizens, we promote understanding, togetherness, and stimulate collective action towards common goals as Kenyans. In conclusion, I envision Kenya where every citizen actively participates in the decisions and management of our country, a nation where the rule of law is respected, justice prevails, and equity triumphs and accountability reigns. A country that works for every Kenyan and not just a few well-connected individuals. I'm strongly persuaded that digital activism can help us to march towards that dream. I encourage all Kenyans of goodwill to leverage these digital tools to make their voices heard, challenge injustices, and contribute to the betterment of our beloved motherland. To the young people of Kenya, I urge you to remain steadfast in your quest for a better Kenya. Your energy, creativity, and passion are driving forces behind this movement, and your continued engagement is vital for success. To our national government and county governments, I call on you to recognize the value of digital platforms as a tool for public engagement. Embrace these technologies to connect with citizens, gather feedback, and ensure that the governance is truly by the people and for the people. The Citizens Assembly will advocate for a national digital platform for public participation.
Will embrace
and I
this to
hope
get
the President of the nation will embrace
from
this
his people and feedback on services that are offered. As the Law Society of Kenya, we will also continue to engage justice for victims, improvement of some of the bare minimums that were raised through the Gen Z movement, changes in the healthcare and education system, better governance and accountability that are open to, and we're open to bridging this conversation on what is next and how do we build our nation together. And finally, to all of us, I have a direct message. Engage with purpose, act with integrity, and use your voice. Drive positive change through digital activism. God bless you all, and God bless our country, Kenya.
Beautiful, and I hope I get information even deeper from. I had a chance to interview her earlier on this week. This lady has the right intentions for this country and, of course, for LSK. Right now, I'm just about to introduce my panel, but before Tufanye, I'd like to remind you that we are on different platforms. I'd like you to take a clever guess. Who do you think is my fourth panelist? Okay, so shake your neighbor. I want you to shake your neighbor. Tafadhali, shake your neighbor. Fair. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. Sing it with me. If you're happy and you know, and you really want to show, if you're happy and you know, clap your hands. Happy and you know, and you really want to show, if you're happy and shake your neighbor. If you're happy and you know, shake your neighbor. Shake your neighbor. If you're happy and you know, and you really want to show, if you're happy and you watch and you ambie, when you're done with this, your neighbor. If you're happy and you know, ask for fair. If you're happy and you know, ask for fair. We're not gonna do that. Watch and you ambie, when you're done with this, allow me. You'll be so confused. You're like, welcoming my friend, my brother. We're not going to do that. But ladies and gentlemen, allow me the privilege of welcoming my friend, my brother, national treasure. When it comes to music, he has an unstoppable voice. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and only Iani.
Iani. Ipeperushwe juu sana bendera. Watu wangu bana, mimi siwasikii. Put it up kwanza DJ. Ipeperushwe juu bendera yetu Kenya, ipeperushwe juu. Sisi wa Kenya tunaweza, we can better ati tunaweza. One more time from the top, my DJ. Kwa majina ni Iane, Iane. 3, 2, 1. Ipeperushwe juu bendera yetu Kenya, ipeperushwe juu. Sisi wa Kenya tunaweza, ati ni mkurugenzi mzalendo, black, red and green. Najivunia sina maneno, young, fresh and free. Niko huru, raia pariang ni clean. Before Mariga Pepe Champions League. Kaza mlingoti bendera zipepe huu mwaka. Nasikia ripoti pita juu. moja ni nguvu sio ishikia rambe, lazima magoti mapacha ndo upate mguu kaka. Ati Mkenya halisi na sijaificha inaonekana kwa urahisi, mboka inapigwa vile inafando. Are you guys ready to sing? Ipeperushwe juu, bendera yetu Kenya ipeperushwe juu, sisi wa Kenya tunawe, watu wangu let's sing tunawe. Tulipata madaraka tulisele proud crowd, hata siwezi eleza feel, na ndo maana tulipiga shangwe na nderemo, wazalendo tukasare vako juu ya freedom fighter. Niko free filanga, cheki around vile wa Kenya tumejengana kama ndugu. We sing it one last time. Ipeperushwe juu, bendera, let me see your hands up. Ipeperushwe juu, sisi wa Kenya tunawe, ati daima mimi Mkenya, Uhuru Kenya, Rais Moi atuletea maziwa ya Nyayo, Rais Kibaki Rais Uhuru atuletea ugatuzi Kenya. One last time. Ipeperushwe juu, wote bendera yetu Kenya ipeperushwe juu, sisi wa Kenya tunawe, tunaweza. Ipeperushwe juu, we can do better, tunaweza fanya fiti zaidi. Ipeperushwe juu, nini bendera yetu Kenya ipeperushwe juu, sisi wa Kenya tunawe. Ikibamba sana, wapi nduru wewe? Tuendelee ama tusiendelee? Tuendelee. DJ uko na ngoma nyingine? Aya, inaitwa Sauti ya Wanyonge. Ngoja acha niwafunze. It's a new song, and I believe as a young person I'm meant to speak about anything that I feel is going to affect us. Nataka kuwafunza hii song, ikifika chorus tutaimba pamoja. Are you to sing with me? Yes. So chorus ni very simple, mtakuwa mnasema sauti ya wanyonge, serikali sikia, sauti ya wanyonge, wananchi wanalia. Sauti ya wanyonge, serikali sikia, wananchi. Msiogope kuimba, ati sauti ya wanyonge, sauti ya wanyonge, Nice one. Meshika, twende kazi DJ. Power. Power. Comrades mko in the building kweli? Comrades power. Watu wangu power. Kila mtu power. Uongo. Tumezoea uongo. Ndogo. Kila siku tunabebwa ndogo. Mbunge wetu pia ni muongo. Pale kwa bunge tunaona ndogo. Ati mbunge wetu tulimpa kura, kumbe nia yake ni kukula. Gharama imepanda, mafuta imepanda, hata ndudi siezi panda, sherehe haiwezi bamba, maisha iwezi pamba, sanitary pads zimepanda, warembo wetu wako kwa. We sing it together. Sauti ya wanyonge, serikali sikia, sauti ya wanyonge, wananchi wanalia. Let me hear you sing. Sauti ya wanyonge, serikali sikia, wananchi wanalia. Mambo ya uongo kutuona wajinga, mambo ya uongo kutuona wajinga, tunakuajiri alafu naringa, kukopa tunalipa madeni na tuone maendeleo. Tumefanya nini? Tumekata, tutaki. Ati mbunge wetu tulimpa kura, kumbe nia yake ni kukula. Unga imepanda, fare imepanda, taxi imepanda, hata matatu siwezi panda, sherehe haiwezi manga, kate imepanda. Nini ingine imepanda? Warembo, pombe pia ni blanda. Ati nini? Sauti ya wanyonge, serikali sikia. Sauti ya wanyonge, wananchi tunalia. Sauti ya wanyonge, serikali sikia. Sauti ya wanyonge, hebu ngoja tuimbe hii. Ati sauti ya wanyonge, sauti ya wanyonge, sauti ya wanyonge, serikali sikia. Sauti ya wanyonge, ati I am happy today. Wote sema I am happy today. Asanteni sana. I believe that's a good one. Tufanye moja ya mwisho. Sound it my DJ. Kwa majina ni Iane. 3, 2, 1, wote. Furaha ni kuwa na marafiki, furaha ayaya. Kulewa na marafiki, furaha ni kuwa na marafiki, furaha ayaya. Kulewa ati kwa sherehe let me hear you sing. Pull it up DJ. Ngoja kwanza, hii wimbo tuwezi perform kama mmekaa. Are you guys happy to be here? Tuamke tafadhali. Tuamke, we do it one more time from the top, my DJ. Unaweza kuja mbele. Na ikibamba sana pia unatoka, unalipa entrance, unaingia ndani. One more time from the top, my DJ. Kwa majina ni Iane. Are you guys happy to be here tonight? Wote furaha ni kuwa na marafiki, furaha ni kulewa na marafiki, furaha ni kuwa na wapi makofi yake tafadhali. Ni kulewa na marafiki, ati kwa sherehe tumefika. Kwa sherehe tumefika. Familia iko ndani, wote tunajibamba, marafiki majirani, rane. In 3, 2, 1, ati I am happy today. Wote sema I am happy today. Tunini juu sisi ni walevi na tunapenda kamnyweso. Sisi ni walevi na tunapenda kamnyweso. 3, 2, 1, wote furaha ni kuwa na marafiki, furaha ni kulewa na marafiki, furaha ni kuwa na Fulita DJ. Furaha yetu ni kulewa na marafiki. Ati pempereren, pempereren, pempereren. Watu wangu power, kila mtu power. Thank you so much.
Applause for Yani, ladies and gentlemen. Tumpigie makofi tafadhali. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here. We definitely want to have this conversation. Lakini tunataka kuhave hii conversation without fear of doubt that we are just representing our rights as citizens, want to assemble. And of course, if there are things we do not agree with, we'll definitely use the Constitution as a form of defense. My name is Brian Aseli from Nation FM in the morning. I host the show alongside Mariam Bishar, and right now I'd like us to have a conversation about reason as to why art imekuwa ikitumika miaka zote as a form of revolution, or why art is necessary for a revolution. I have a panel right here, and I'll ask the gentlemen to make a precise submission of who they are and, of course, why they are here today. Talk to us.
My name is Steven Kinuthia Mwangi. I'm from the Social Justice Center's Traveling Theatre, but also part of the broader social justice movement. Today, I'd like to share about our work at the Social Justice Center's Traveling Theatre and how it has formed part of the tools that we've used to inspire this uprising. Yes.
Yes. On to the next one.
Thank you. Comrades power. Power. Comrades power. Power. My name is Dofanage. My grandmother calls me Mutuma. If my second name will betray me, let it betray me. And I'm a performing artist, a poet, an active citizen, a revolutionary soul, a Pan-Africanist, a human being, and I'm here in all those capacities. Thank you.
Viva comrades, viva! Viva! Viva comrades, viva!
Viva!
Hey, my name is Willie Oeba, for those who know me. For those who don't know me, my name is still Willie Oeba, and I'm a proud Nax vegan. I come from Nakuru. I am a human rights defender, a spoken word artist, and a Ford Global Fellow Class of 2024. Thank you.
Yes, and on to the gentleman. Yani, salimia watu tafadhali.
Migueli, mnataka kusema mnijui? Zimranijua? Okay, to all those who are here and they don't know me, I go by the name of Yani. I'm a singer, songwriter, recording, performing artist, and I use my art to educate and entertain people of my society. I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you so much for being here. Okay, I want us to play a little game. Na nataka kuona, if you want to know that art is very crucial, you'll definitely respond. Nanaishi kwa tumaini najitolea, anguka nayo, anguka nayo. And then of course, vijana msilale, lale lale, vijana msilale. Who can Bogomi? Who can Bogomi? Those songs are a fruit of anything we go through as Kenyans in general. Some have even attempted to actually be our second national anthem. For example, a song by Eric Wainaina, Daima Mkenya, is definitely pretty close to our national anthem. Right now, tunataka kujua, as wasanii, first of all, what do you think about the state of the country right now? And of course, what do you think arts can do for us to actually capture the moments, and of course as a response to our daily lives? I'll start with Willie Oeba. Kindly talk to us a little bit about what you think art is important for any form of revolution.
Wow, thank you. Art is very important. One, art is just like the fourth estate. The work of art is to set the agenda, and also the other work of art is to spark a revolution of the mindset. I am a spoken word artist, and I started doing pieces on social justice in 2017. And in 2020, there's a piece I did called Dear Mr. President. We also did Wajinga Nyinyi back in 2019. And the conversation has been set over time, and what art has done. Because I say we are not where we want to be, but we have to respect the fact that we are not where we used to be. So art has revolutionized mindset and sparked our consciousness over time. I say, just like Tupac, the idea of art and my philosophy of art is not to change the world, but to spark the mind that will change the world, because true leadership is in delegation. So I believe as a country, we are not going in the right direction in terms of leadership and governance, but the youth have taken up their space.
Dofanis, what do you have to say about the same?
For me, art is the revolution itself, like the essence of revolution. Because the reason we're here as artists is because there was Kamaru before us. There was Eric Wainaina before us. There was Kalama Shaka before us. There was Mashifta before us. So when Mashifta told us, ini system ya majambazi, and they only used to say majambazi ni maboi wa ghetto, then wanasema sawa, maboi wa ghetto pia si ni majambazi, lakini kuna maloya pia majambazi, kuna wanasiasa majambazi, na pia si vijana wa ghetto ni majambazi. So na si ni majambazi juu kuna hao majambazi wengine, unaona? So essentially for me, art is the essence of revolution, and this might be the time when there's a generation that is answering the cause. But art has been ahead of this conversation. Like, because without the Kalama Shakas, I wouldn't have been politicized, because we weren't politicized in school. We were politicized by the arts, right? Without the Mashiftas, we wouldn't have, seen the Majambazis that are wearing suits, right? And now it's that consciousness that has been developing since that time that we are here. And finally, there's a substantial enough number of people who are saying, yeah, now we have to stand and reclaim this country, because this country has been dysfunctional since the colonial masters conjured it, right? That dysfunction is what now is getting to a point where it's unsustainable. And so all this is a build-up of decades, almost a century, right?
Yeah. Kinuthia, you're an actor, and hakuna mali utaenda kwa hii dunia ukose kuona msichana watch film, and in music also, yani, film is such a serious element.
Yeah.
Remember in Kenya, growing up, we would often make fun of Nigerians and how they shoot their films. And we definitely say, oh, bad quality, oh, story sound is a specific thing that's happening. But right now, Nigerians, they can tell their stories through films. I would like to just, I'd like you to help us shed some light and why it's important to also just tell our stories through films. And with the emergence of technology, we have reels, we have stories, and such platforms where we can share our struggle and revolution in motion. Kindly talk to us about why it's also important to use film, theater, and music to capture these moments in time.
Thank you so much. We like to think of the Social Justice Center Traveling Theater as films in the streets, films at your doorstep. And why we came up with the idea of the Social Justice Center's Traveling Theater was because our generation is a generation that has been disengaged a little bit from reading a lot. We, like the president of the Law Society of Kenya said, you'll find people more on their phones than they are on socializing physically. And the Social Justice Center's Traveling Theater ideally does street storms. We say a market that you like. We think about issues that affect that particular community. For example, in my community, Mathare, extrajudicial killings have been a huge problem. And dialogues like this sometimes work, but not always. And it's impossible to maintain consistently on a daily basis dialogues that make people understand means in which that they can liberate themselves. And within the Social Justice Center's Traveling Theater, it's a composition of young people drawn from different communities within Nairobi. And the idea is to show people the injustice that they go through and to think of ways with them through participation, ways in which that they can liberate themselves. For example, we've had issues of arbitrary arrests, and as human rights defenders, it becomes so difficult to respond to every case of arbitrary arrests. So when we go to these markets, when we go to churches, we demonstrate to them, when you're arrested, what do you do? Call somebody, talk to the police, and let them know that you have your rights as enshrined under Article 49 of the Constitution of Kenya. Call a person who can come and follow up. When you go to the police station, ensure that you're booked on the OB. So when we do this through ACT, people get to understand, people get to relate.
The piece, it's also through the follow-up,
Yes.
maybe either meetings or maybe your submissions or maybe even petitions soon after, right?
Yes, yes.
So, Iyani, would you like to talk to us a little bit about,
Yeah.
especially your two new songs, eh?
Yeah.
They're actually off what you often write about.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
I'd like to know, why is it that you decided to go that direction? And is it just a response of you as a young man in Kenya today, or just as an artist who's just making an observation?
Personally, I believe my art is meant to educate and entertain at the same time. And at this point, tumeishi kusikia like, where comes Sani, you are a reflection of the society, like when kioo cha jamii. And me believe like personally, me being a mirror of the society, I'm supposed to speak of each and everything that I feel is affecting those around me and also affecting me directly or indirectly. So through my art, it's so easy. Niko na mafans in so many different parts of the country. And mimi kutoka hapa, siwezi toka hapa sahi niseme naenda Mombasa, kuongelesha msee, ni get kusikia story yake like how life is going for that person. But through my art, neza communicate something, neza muelezea like, generally this is how we feel. And this is how things are moving. And mimi kama siko sawa, and so many other young people are not okay, it's my responsibility as an artist to sit down and write something that will speak to so many other young people and give them some sort of direction, because me I believe art, it's meant to spark something. Art iko meant to speak something into our lives. Na art iko meant to give us some sort of direction as a society, na kutuonyesha like where we're heading to.
Let me ask you swali tu moja.
Yes.
And pia naweza penda kujua from the audience. Do you feel like the political class is listening to us through our pieces? Do you feel like they listen to the works of art produced by our artists? And if so, do you think wana respond positively towards the same? Will you ever, when you did Wajinga Nyinyi,
Yeah.
Kwanza nataka utugusie tu kidogo Wajinga Nyinyi part. Sijui kama ni part 1 ama 2 ama 3. But of course, I just want you to touch on it. Zile issues you spoke about years ago, they're still the same issues.
Yeah.
When Eric Wainaina did a song, nchi ya watu wadogo, ni nchi ya kitu kidogo, ni watu wangapi wameshikwa hapa hivi na kwa gari na wakaambiwa watoe hongo so that gari yao isishikwe? Either kama uko na gari ama gari yenu imeshikwa, matatu, anyone by show of hands? Gari yenu ishaishikwa kwa na watu wakitoa hongo? Ni mara ngapi umeenda kwa ofisi za gava and you're told, hey, utacheza kama wewe? Kila siku unacheza kama wewe, si ndio? Wangapi by show of hands? Kuna watu wachezi hapa, mko sawa? Amjaicheza kama nyinyi. But I'd like to know, do you think that they listen to us?
Great.
And do they respond?
I'll do the piece as a parting shot when we are through. And before I answer, and as I answer that, I'd like to reiterate what Iania said. Art is not only the reflection of the society, but also art is supposed to set the agenda. So there's a very thin line between artists being just reflection of the society and artists being leaders. And I think we are both. Artists are supposed to point us to a certain direction and spark what we have called the revolution of the mindset. Yeah.
Dolphin, what do you think about the same?
I think, you know, the experiment you did, right? The experiment we started with, you know, speaks for itself, right? And for me, even on top of those things that art is, you know, art is also therapy, ndio? Like saizi vile yani kila time ukiangalia news unaanza kumwona kichwa, right? Nini ndio inakutoa kwa hiyo zone?
Art.
Right? Mziki, movies, unajua unaanguka nayo kidogo, alafu una feel uko re-energized, unasema Tuesday tuko ndani, si ndio? So it's not, and not just that. The other important thing is art is memory.
Yeah.
Right? Because saizi kuna vitu most zina happen zenye tutasahau, right? Na hizo experiences zote zinakuwa captured too in different forms. Kuna wasanii wataandika novels juu ya hii time. Kuna wasanii wanaandika songs juu ya hii time. So 10 years from now, ukisikiza anguka nayo, haitakuwa, it's not just going to be a song you're dancing to. It's going to be a time in history, right? It's going to be memory. And it might not be saying much in terms of breaking down in it, like, but the essence in a capture hiyo moment ya revolt. And it's gonna take you back to moments where young Kenyans decided enough was enough, you know, with bad governance. Enough is enough with, you know, blatant corruption. And we're gonna reflect on how far we've come from that point.
I love how you're speaking. But the biggest fear has been, you see, like wakati in America when Obama was doing his campaign, he had artists support him. He had Jay-Z, Beyonce, he had big names come and support and actually give an endorsement and say, Barack Obama Tosha, or in their version in English, okay? In other countries, we've seen also DJs or individuals rise up to ranks and become presidents. Madagascar is a good example. Is it only in Kenya whereby we are used as a tool for campaign? Then when the season is done, we're not seen in platforms where we can issue guidance on governance. If so, then we are seen as enemy number one. For example, in South Africa during their struggle, we saw people like Hugh Masekela, one great trumpeter. We saw people like Miriam Makeba, such an influential voice. She was not even living in a country by the time she was fighting for it through music. Do you feel like it's high time as artists we separate ourselves from the arts at times or use this as a tool to speak even louder when it comes to governance? Because munakumbuka Uhulu Ruto